Nicole submits her numbers though, so that's the good thing.
She
So
does submit her numbers.
she does. I know she does. All right. So welcome to the FFL Solidity team call. My name is Marisa Maggio. Today is Thursday, November 5th of 24. Super excited to be on with a very special guest. Somebody truly near and dear to my heart, part of the organization, Miss Nicole Ramirez. Nicole, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm excited to be given this opportunity.
Well, we're super excited to have you on, and it's, really well deserved. And guys, just to kind of brag on Nicole a bit, and I'll definitely let you tell your story, Nicole, but Nicole hasn't been with us too long, maybe give or take about 2.5, 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Got up and moving, really just kind of followed the steps that she was given and is seeing success. Now, Nicole is also somebody who's like, I'm not scared to dial the phone. Like, you see her on virtual office, hitting the phones hard. You see her on virtual office getting work done. And sometimes when you look at the virtual office guys, it's kind of funny because you can see like who's actually working and like who's kind of like just chilling, right? And like, I've been guilty of chilling, but just make sure like Nicole's never chilling on. Like she's like either like quoting somebody on the phone, like she's doing something. She's using her income producing hours to do exactly that, produce income. So Nicole, thanks so much for being on with us today. I'm super, super excited. Just to kind of hit the call off, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what you were doing before Family First Life and, why Family First Life.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a single mother of three. I have always been in the nursing field, and just something I like to help people be able to give back to my community because I never got that when I was growing up. So wanting to really make sure that I'm providing a different lifestyle for my children is definitely going to be hard work, but I always had the mindset of taking risks because with failure is the way to success. Not all is going to be mentally stable, right? We're going to go through those ups and downs, but definitely connecting with the right people is going to help you stay on this same path as them and get to where they are or where you want to be. So went into the nursing field for about 10 years, switched over to sales. I was in collections. I was in management for a collection company. After that, I went into car saleswoman. And then I initially went to a different agency. After I got my license, before I even jumped into working, I went to a convention and I was like, let's go. I just got my license. I'm ready to work. And worst came to worst, I wasn't getting any help or support, or it was almost like I didn't even have a director that I could turn to. So I ended up pulling myself, away from the company, but immediately I was looking for another agency. I knew I wanted to stay in insurance. This convention opened my eyes to opportunities that I was like, this is too good to be true, but I'm definitely gonna, take a risk to see what this is all about. And so came over here and I'm under Rami from day one. He has been the person I go to, Marisa as well, Christina as well. I'm always trying to get knowledge from the people that have done this and are doing it, because it's so easy to get off track and be set in our own ways. And sometimes it just takes us permission to give our, or I'm sorry, sometimes it takes us to give our director permission to be real with us, be honest, because they're doing it in the best interest of you. And so once I learned to really like fully, accept criticism, and it's not negative, it's to better me. Now I'm becoming a more successful saleswoman, right? I'm a helper here, doctor. So yeah, just really leaning in towards Accepting criticism and definitely, you know, always reach out and get the help you need. It's so easy to be able to fall into your own ways or back to what you used to know because now this isn't working. But the second you step off track, you're ruining your whole business. So that's one thing. The most important thing I learned coming over is definitely reach out because we're all going through the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like, hey, if I can tell you like, hey, don't step there, step here, right? It's like that's one less misstep that, you have to make coming in as a new agent. And your background is great. First of all, single mom of three, like I'm just going to give it up for every single mom because I can imagine that that's extremely tough. Coming from a nursing background, obviously you care about people. And I love how you talked about giving back to your community because it wasn't that way when you were growing up. And I think that that's huge. I think people who actually care about other people are going to do well here. Now, if you're like, I care about people, but like you really don't, like it's gonna shine through. Like I say that in like the most loving way. So Nicole, it sounds like you really care about people and not just about yourself. Like this isn't just about how can Nicole get better. This is how can Nicole get better, help her community and help her, children grow up differently than you may have, right? And I love that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Also taking into account, you were in sales prior, so collections, which I can imagine like that's why she's not scared of the phone. Like that makes complete sense. I love that. And then car sales, and then like you mentioned, kind of going to that old IMO and not really having that mentorship. And I love how you said give people permission to be honest with you, right? Like if I sat on the phone with you or anybody, right, Nicole, or anybody sat on, it's like, and we're just sitting there like, oh, Nicole, don't worry, tomorrow it's going to be better. And it's like, it's not going to be better, right? Like, unless we're honest about, hey, you could do better here, 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 and you're able to take that information. And it seems like you are. You remind me a lot of myself in the essence of you're not necessarily going to like hound people for information, but the information you do get, you're implementing it like right away, right away, right away. And I love seeing that because not everyone does that. A lot of people are ask holes, simply meaning you ask a lot of questions and you don't implement anything. Guys, that's not going to get you far and it's going to get you really, really confused. Now, Nicole, with kind of your background, I love that, but kind of now stepping into a different IMO, you didn't really know what to expect. In getting started, right? Just as a brand new insurance agent, what was one of the biggest things that you were kind of like concerned about as a new agent? And kind of what's helped you get past this if you've gotten past it?
Yeah, for sure. My number one mistake was organization. I had no idea even how to organize, what to organize, and it was taking so much of my time. Once I learned that organization is like the first piece of starting my business is when I took off. It was the training wheels came off, things started to become very smooth. And it was as simple as just having my calendar. Like, this is all it was. Rami was like, get one of these. And the second I got one of these, I'm like, are you serious? My problem is solved. You know what I mean? So definitely organization is the biggest thing that I learned to be able to succeed and become more efficient at what we do.
For sure, because it's like, we can take 20 minutes every morning trying to like gather, like, where's this, where's that? Let me pull this up, let me pull that up. Or we can have some type of system that it's like, for me, like I have I have 4 folders and it's like pending sales, sold, pitched, no showed, right? I'm just literally recycling those folders every month. But like that's my system. It doesn't mean it's gonna work for you or for anybody. But it's like, guys, you do need to be organized in this business. So Nicole, I love how you said that. And the same probably planner that Rami recommended to you, like I got it right here. So guys, it's like we all use it. It's called the Day Minder. If you don't have it and you're on this team, call me. I'm going to buy you one because you need one. All right. But I love how you said that organization. So it's like, and by the way, Nicole, when you're saying organization, I don't think you mean like everything needs to be spotless. You're just saying, hey, I want to know where my ducks are and I don't have to be like searching for things. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Just an outline.
Love that. And what were some of what's some of the best advice you think that maybe you were kind of given on the front end? And as a new agent, we don't always understand or internalize kind of everything because there's a lot going on. But maybe you didn't really understand it at that point, but now it's served you anything from, whether it's leads, the way you speak with people, anything of that sort that, you feel like could help somebody else.
Yes, definitely do what they say. Just do what they say. It works. And, there's a reason why they say certain things that could be as little as just saying just or but, like something so little, there's a reason behind it. So once I knew just do and say exactly what they say, is when I started seeing results like, oh my gosh, this is what? Like, of course, they've been doing this forever, but yeah, it opened my eyes. So I literally just do what they say. If it sounds cheesy coming out, if you feel a little weird saying it, just say it. So that's the main thing. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a little bit, to hone in there because sometimes, right, like Nicole, when I came from I had a practice company too, guys. So I'm happy that now me and Nicole are both here. But, in my practice company, we weren't trained, so to say, to dial 3 times back to back. So when I came here, my mentor said to me, so you know how to dial your leads 3 times. And I was like, you call them 3 times? Like you're crazy. I'm not gonna call someone 3 times. Like that's you're gonna freak out. And they're like, no, dude, like they're not because I call them every day, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do that. Well, Nicole, lo and behold, the only reason my schedule got booked that week was because I was like, maybe I should dial that 3 times back to back. Right. And that's funny because like a lot of people answer on that third call, guys. When someone calls you 3 times, it's like we need to remember they put a request in. They asked for help. All you're doing is following up on it. And when you can truly live in that mindset, right? Like things change, like things look a lot different. So Nicole, I love how you're like, just listen, but some of the things they sound a little bit crazy, right? Like they might not sound, and that's because guys, like what we do here, it's not what everybody does all day. So it's like if you go ask your friend, hey, you think I should call someone 3 times back to back? Like they're probably going to be like, no. But like you ask anyone who's been killing it in the insurance industry, they'll be like, call them 8 times if they don't answer. Like they don't like, Nicole's like, you want me to call 5 times? Like, okay, done, doing it. Which like is great because it's like, guys, that's not like a like, oh, like that's not an insult to Nicole. That's like a go Nicole because she can take feedback and she doesn't take it personally. So Nicole, I love that about you. Now you're always plugged into virtual office, you're always plugged into team calls, any call, you're there, right? So talk to us a little bit about why plugging in, why talking to your upline, because you spoke a bit about that. Like, why do you think that you have a higher shot at success being able to just like have transparent conversations with your upline?
The more opinions you can get, not only from one person, maybe that person isn't explaining it the way you can comprehend, and they can explain it 20 million ways, and you may still not grasp the concept. But then you can talk to somebody else, or somebody else can hear you, give you some feedback, and say the same thing, but maybe reword it or tweak it a little bit, and you understand it. So the more opinions I can get from people that have been doing this, the better I've become. And also the more you can put yourself out there, people are going to come to you. Hey, Nicole, what are you doing? Or how are you doing this? What's changed for you in 2 weeks? So literally my life flipped upside down from I'm really struggling to I'm okay. And it's just something, if I didn't reach out, or sometimes I'm kind of slowing down, and now, Rami's reaching out. Hey, is everything good? What's going on? What are kind of some objections I'm struggling with? And then I get right back on track. almost every single time that's happened, I'm writing a policy. So definitely the more you plug in, the more you'll learn. And if you don't plug in, if you're not on the virtual office, it's just weird. I don't feel like I'm working if I'm working, but I'm not on the virtual office. So at first I was like, well, I don't even want to show my face. I don't really want to, be in front of everybody. But once I stepped outside my comfort zone is when I started seeing tremendous success, improvement. And sometimes I'm not even understanding what I'm saying because it's just been told to me so many times by Rami that now I'm like, okay, well, it's just flowing out and it's natural, it's coming natural. So reaching out for as much help, getting as much feedback, putting yourself out there. If you're not willing to take a risk to fail, we don't really know what's on the other side. So in order to be successful in a business, you really have to plug into people and network with people that are doing the same thing as you are.
Absolutely. And that was huge just because it's like, guys, if like like Nicole said, sometimes somebody will say something to you, like, but you just can't receive it. Like, you don't understand. It goes back to it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Now, I might say something to Nicole and she's like, okay, got it. And then like Rami says it and she's like, got it. And then she's on the phone and she's like, don't got it. And then she's on virtual office the following day and like, Dom's live and Dom says what me and Rami said, but he just says it a little bit differently. And you pick to that, right? You're like, oh shoot, that's what they were trying to say, right? Like, oh shoot, I resonate with how he said it. I can receive it that way. So it's super important to have more than one person you're listening to and talking to in the business because I know for me, if it was just that one mentor, like it would be really difficult for me in certain areas that like they just might not be that great at, guys. We're all gifted in different arenas. And I think that that's kind of the beautiful part about virtual office. And Nicole, you said, I don't feel like I'm working unless I'm on virtual office. Like it's kind of weird. In the beginning, I was a bit more shy. Maybe you had your camera off, you were, less willing to unmute, things like that. But it's like once you saw, hey, I'm getting uncomfortable and I'm getting where I want to go, you were like, I'll put the damn camera on and on you and like let's do this thing because like I'm getting where I want to go, right? So like that's
Exactly.
the beauty, right? Like guys, that's what virtual office is there for. Like just what Nicole just explained. So Nicole, thank you so much for talking about that and just talking about getting out of your comfort zone. It's not an easy thing for anybody to do, guys. Like I promise, but like we're not mean. Like we all love on each other. Like go on virtual office for 2 hours and tell me like, oh no, I don't think I'm going to supportive environment. Like, yeah, right. So like, and I say that in a loving way. But in the beginning, Nicole, we all always have some missteps, if you will, right? Like, things that we're gonna kind of step here, step there, we're gonna correct. We thought we got it. I mean, maybe we didn't. Talk to us a little bit about things that you have learned through those missteps to kind of protect more families, over the last, and how many weeks have you been here, Nicole, approximately?
How many weeks? I would
Like it's
say 12 to 15
okay,
approximately.
that sounds about right. Yeah, like three to 4 months. Okay. So
Yeah.
guys, like so Nicole, you've had some time to misstep, right? So like talk to us a little bit about that because I think it's also important for everyone to know like, hey, like no one comes in like perfect, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely came in hot. I almost felt like I was a burden to Rami because I'm like, holy crap. First off, my life is a mess. My personal life is a mess. I just moved like a week ago and I'm a single mom. So my life is a mess, but I was like, I have no other choice but to do this. So even though we had to really get the training wheels tightened a little bit. Things started to smooth out, but I definitely made the biggest mistake of um, not sticking to the script. and thinking that, oh, okay, well, I said this one time and it worked. And what they're telling me to do is not working for me. So I really had to learn my tone was the biggest thing. I'm being way too nice to these people. I'm letting them walk all over me because in my mind, I'm like, well, I got to be nice because I'm trying to initially sell them something, but it doesn't work like that because now they feel like they're in control. So I kind of had to toughen up, even though I can take a lot and, dilute an escalated situation. That's kind of my background, what I'm used to. There's so much more in your tone. It can do so much in a phone call. So coming in hot, I was so nice to these people and definitely got walked on a lot. Once I wouldn't say like grow a backbone, but really grow a backbone, there's a reason why they tell you that, just don't be their friend. They're not your friend. Once I started taking the constructive criticism with what I was doing, what is my problem, what is my mistake. Guys, these people have been doing this for a long time. They can tell you what your mistake is, and you may not even know your mistake. Excuse me. So that's kind of the thing where I'll get back on track because I'm set in my own ways, whether it's with the script or with my leads. Maybe I'm not buying enough leads per week to maintain, and now it's setting me way back. Just little things like that is definitely gonna affect your business.
Absolutely. And I love how you hit on, like you're like, hey, like my life isn't like this, like just like, this rainbow and butterfly, right? For, lack of a better term. But you're not using that as like an excuse to be like, hey, this is why I can't do it. You're using it as a way to actually, like, this is why I am doing it. And there's a lot of power in that. And not sticking to the script. Now, guys, this is something that like everybody on this call, including myself, is like guilty of, like just not stick. Like we all had a day and time that we were like, if I just stayed on the damn script, I probably would have helped the person. I got too excited in the beginning. I just was like, you know what? Let me just pitch it. And then they're like, oh, well, now we're best friends. I'll call you next week. And like, maybe we'll get tea and you can come to my kid's birthday party. It's like, we're not calling people for birthday party invites. Like we're calling people to try to help them, make sure that their situation looks better on the worst day of their family's lives. Right. So I love how you talked about that, how it's important to stick to your script, but also tone. It's huge, dude. Even when I went recently from in-home to telesales, I was like, because I used to be kind of like rhetorical in setting my appointment, almost like I would be like, yeah, like, yep, Nicole, I do have to come to your house. Yes. Okay. I don't want to come either. All right. What color is the house on the outside? So I know I'm there. Right. Now they might hate me a little bit, but when I got there, it was cool. Right. Now on the phone, like I can't have that approach when I'm calling them, that same like very matter of fact, I'm in control. Because if I'm not my best self from the jump, or I'm too nice, which is something like I can definitely be on the phone, but it goes one way or the other. Like there's a shift, right, Nicole? It's like, you know what? Like you
For
went too
sure.
far. Like we're gearing up, okay? And I think that that's really important because it can waste a lot of your time, right? If you're on the phone with the wrong person, or they're being like some type of disrespectful to you, that might just simply not be your client, guys. It is important to know, like we were just in the previous, training that we were just on with Rami. Somebody had asked something along the lines of, shoot, it actually interacted right with this. Rami, you know what I'm talking about? Or Nicole?
The ratio thing?
Yes, the ratios of showing, not showing, etc. It's like you have to realize, like, your tone it can't be too nice. Like if I have a great example, this guy, Mark, okay? I talked to Mark yesterday, guys. I've been in this business. I knew this was going to happen. I said to myself, Marisa, why are you doing it? When I got off the phone, I was literally mad at my own self. Like I taught, like I did like a pen toss, right? Like, because I knew I wasted my time. Mark was trying to be my friend. He's telling me about how he grew up near Massachusetts, which is where I'm from, how now he lives in Iowa. And I let Mark talk for an hour. I let it happen. It was my hour. I missed 4 appointments while I was talking to Mark. And you know what Mark told me at the end? You know what? I'm in my truck right now and I don't have my checkbook. So I actually can't do the application right now. But if you want to call me tomorrow morning, I'll be available to do it. Now, Nicole, when I called him this morning, what do you think? Do you think you think we took the application?
Absolutely not.
That is the correct ding ding ding. That's the correct answer. Okay, like we didn't, but I learned about Mark's life for an hour and a half, which did not serve me. I was too nice, right? And Nicole, I even have mentioned this to you prior. A lot of you guys on the call, like typically I'll be like, hey Mark, I could talk to you all day, but I have about 10 other people I actually have to help today. So, you know, like back to the script, right? And we can get ourselves back to that script. We're always going to be kind of redirecting ourselves. So I love seeing that in you too, Nicole. And we've all definitely had our moments. So it's, guys, it's important to know when things like that happen, like it's not just you, but let's correct it, right? So I'd love to see that. Now, Nicole, you are somebody who is not afraid of hard work. You show that on the virtual office all the time. You're dialing, like I said, like guys, you're chilling on the virtual office or you're working on the virtual office. And just by whatever's happening in your camera screen, it is evident what you are or aren't doing. I'm not mad at you. I'm just letting everybody know. And again, guilty as charged at times. But what pushes you, Nicole, on the days you really don't want to make the dials? Like you don't feel like it. You don't feel like talking to John. You don't feel like, you know, you don't feel like pitching final expense. Like you just don't feel like doing your job. Like what actually pushes you to go do it?
Yeah, so the previous IMO I was under, it was more salesy, more or less they were only looking to benefit themselves. They didn't have true intentions for themselves and the client. So coming over here, it was, well, I've got leads coming in, and what happens if my clients are going to, you know, what if this IMO calls them and now they're getting a sales experience? They don't know what they've got themselves into. They don't know what they're paying for. And it's just a mess. And here I am trying to clean it up with them, but now, you know, it's very difficult once they've worked with somebody who's very salesy. So it's kind of my go-to is I got to be first to those leads because I know I'm doing what's in the best interest for these clients. And initially, it's not just what's good for my paycheck, but initially what's the best thing for their family and themselves.
Absolutely. And like, I don't know that like there could be a more like just genuine answer than that. It's like, guys, there are so many agents out there that a lot of us would be shocked that just do things that we don't even understand why, you know. There's been numerous times, and I'm sure a lot of you guys on here can relate. You have somebody go grab their policy, they think it's whole life, it's term, and it's going to expire in 10 years, etc. The list goes on of things, guys. And it goes back to that importance, like Nicole's saying, like we're out here doing the right thing by our clients first. And you know, like then by our, you know, for ourselves as well. But our clients are always going to come first. And I think that that's so important. So getting to those leads first is huge because it's like if you're not going to call them, Nicole, 10 to 1 says they filled out another form somewhere else. Someone else is going to call them. And now you're either in like a challenge with said salesperson and you don't even know it sometimes, right? Or you're like, they're like, oh, we just got this policy. And now you're trying to kind of like, you know, revert back. So you're saying like, hey, once the lead comes in, I'm calling the lead because I have a higher chance of helping that family in the right way that's best for them. I love that. That's huge. And then I think that this is a big part too, Nicole, that people sometimes we come in and we're, you know, by the way, guys, like everyone's job on here, like including mine, like is like to get beat up on the phones. Like if you cannot get beat up on the phones, it's going to be really hard for you here. Like if you take everything personally that people tell you on the phones, like I love you, but you should quit today because it's going to be really mentally tedious on you. Now, with that being said, when we start with leads, we typically start on a, you know, a less new or a less entire intent lead type just to get those reps in, make sure we know our rebuttals, make sure we're not spending, you know, $12 a lead versus 75 cents a lead to kind of get out the kinks, right? Like we all have them. I've never heard somebody get on the phone and be perfect. But what I have heard is Nicole on the phone, and she sounds very stern, professional, and in control. When you can sound busy, important, and in control, that's exactly what you are. And I think that that says a lot, about you, Nicole. Now, you always, from what I saw anyways, you always kind of operated with that mindset of like, I'm just going to keep getting through these leads. But talk to us a little bit about what your leads looked like when you first got started and what your leads look like for you now.
Yeah, when I first got started, I was like, well, I'm going to save every penny I can because I need to. And, my rent is due in 5 days and all I have is my rent money, but I've got to, pretty much stock my store. I need inventory so I can continue to pay my bills. So I had to make a sacrifice where, all right, well, I know if I buy leads, I'm going to be able to pay my rent within the next 30 days. But if I just pay my rent, I'm probably not going to be able to pay my rent for the next month. So I had to make a sacrifice. I'm going to put my rent aside because I know I will be able to pay it within the next 30 days. It's okay. It's okay. So I did that. I did exactly that. And literally the day before my rent was due, I would be able to make 2-3 months of my rent, just because I made that sacrifice. So from going in the beginning, I'm trying to save my pennies and buy these leads that I'm like, oh darn, I really don't know, but I'm trying to be on the cheap side, but I really got to be on this side to help me out. But at the end of the day, it was kind of all the same, right? It's your sales, it's your knowledge and how you can deliver things for sure. Once I kind of got a hold of the quality, so quality, it matters, but I would rather buy 1,000 crap leads than, two high quality leads, because the more I can put myself out in front of people, maybe they didn't get all their options, maybe they weren't even told the correct information, or maybe they just didn't connect with the previous agent. I know that I can do something different. So leads are leads. As long as you look at it like they're going to get something, they're going to get protected, they're going to protect their family because they filled out the request. It's now my responsibility to give them the knowledge to make an educated decision.
I love that. And the way you opened that up was perfect because like I think that most of us come into this business like, okay, we need to save every penny. And thank you for being, vulnerable enough to share that story with us. And I think honestly, like most of us have a story, like I have a similar story coming in. And when you make that bet on yourself, it's like at that point you almost feel so powerful that it's like you're gonna make it happen. Like it's not if, it's when, right? And
For sure.
I love how you said like by the time you were paying rent, you could have paid it 3 times, right? Like that's huge because if, like Nicole said, if she had just paid her rent, she wouldn't have had inventory. She got her inventory, did her job, paid her rent, and was like, now I'm gonna do this again and actually make money because I can't close my store because I have to pay my rent. Now, some of you guys might be like, well, that's crazy. Like, and I get it. But from a business owner standpoint, it's not crazy at all. It's actually the only way to win. Like no one was gonna come and save you, Nicole, right? Like no one's coming to save me. No one's coming for you either, right, girl? Like
exactly.
so it's like guys, like we all got to get it done, like individually, but also together. So I think it's just it's important to know, like, guys, leads are an expense in your business. If you don't have business expenses, you're not in business. Period. Like if you don't have business, you're not in business. Like if you're not spending money on leads every week, I love you, but you're not in business. If people are buying your leads for you, again, I love you, but you're not in business. Like get yourself to a place that you can be self-sustained And you are in the most powerful position in the world of just feeling like I can do whatever I need to do for myself, my family, my kids, whoever that might be. And it's a really powerful place to be. But without leads, it's going to be really damn hard to get there. So, Nicole, I love how you said that. And then also the quantity over quality. Guys, especially when we're new, like I'm with you. I'll take the 1,000 leads over the 25 brand new ones that somebody just sent in, because out of those other 1,000, yeah, I'm going to have to make a lot more dials, but we're not scared of hard work. So it's not a problem. In that scenario, we have a lot higher chance of having a higher ROI than if we had 25 leads that cost, whatever, $80 a piece or whatever. Now, these are not only examples, guys, but we're using this just as a premise to go off of. Like, there is going to have to be sacrifices made, right? Like, I get it. Like, we understand. Talk to your upline, because I can tell you right now, no matter who it is on this call, like, I know some of the things that we've been through. So it's like, talk to people. Hey, does this make logical sense? Don't just like miss your mortgage payment and not know what leads you're going to buy, right? Like that's, and not get any advice, right? Like that wouldn't have been good. But Nicole's like, I'm plugged in, I'm rolling, I'm betting on myself. I got this. I'm going to work and I'm going to get after it. Made it happen and still is. So I love that. And I love that's like just kind of how you viewed that as like, my store is going to shut down, or I'm going to pay my rent, or I'm going to keep my store going. I'm just going to pay my rent a couple of days, behind, for lack of a better term. So love when those things play out beautifully. And guys, they always do. Like pretty much everybody in the company has a story like that. And I don't say that in a negative connotation. I say it in a way of, guys, there's so many people around us that were in tough financial situations, including, but not limited to myself, that have gotten themselves out of it. You can absolutely do that as well. You just got to focus. It's 90 days of honing in. If you don't get it after 90 days, it's like, I love you, but maybe it's not for you. Hone in, commit to yourself for 90 days. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and stay committed. That's when you're going to know if this business is or isn't for you. So I love that. And now, kind of just to wrap up, because I know people want to hear about kind of what you say during your presentations. In opening up your presentation, Nicole, is there anything specifically that you want to do, identify, or make sure that the client, has before you jump into everything?
Yeah, for sure. I want to set the table. So again, not being too friendly. The tone is the first thing I noticed once I changed. I'm not getting these people stepping on my toes, trying to cut me off. So setting the tone, but also giving them like the first 30 seconds to be able to show them that you're a human being too. Whether you gotta like crack a weird laugh or, whatever it may be, show them that you're a human being. You're not there to sell them something. That was the biggest thing. Right when you go into that pitch, the pitch is initially setting the table for yourself for the whole entire phone call, start to finish.
Absolutely. So it's important that that's set properly. So they're looking at you like you're the professional. Again, you're busy, important, and in control, because guys, we're just trying to help people. Again, it's not like, Nicole's better than you. It's like, no, it's like all of us are busy, important, and in control when we're on the phone. And tonality says that. And Nicole, kind of quickly to piggyback off that, you said your tonality was really nice, right? What would you say your tonality is now on the phone?
Mono.
There you go.
I'm really used to, being a nurse, right? You kind of got to be up and, because these people are sick. But now I'm like super, super flat. I don't flex my voice. Sometimes I'm going slower to the point where I'm like, okay, this person must know something is going on, or maybe I'm reading a script. That's how I feel, but it comes across to them where they can comprehend better. So I always do monotone, and definitely slow down, even if it feels kind of weird. Slow down.
That's huge too. Slow down. And I love the monotone, right? You're like, I'm staying, nice and even. I'm not getting here. Even if they're at a 10, I'm staying at 5, and I'm just chilling at 5. but also humanizing yourself, whether that's a joke off the rip, or you hear their dog in the background, you resonate, you relate, you kind of laugh a little bit and jump into it. Now, guys, is every single person you talk to, you're going to be able to like make them laugh, or like not necessarily in the first, minute or two, but like Nicole said, setting the table of what's going to happen during that appointment is extremely important. I know Nicole got her role and purpose down because she uses that. And if you don't have that down, guys, get it down. It will make your life a lot easier. And then just to kind of wrap up the call, two last questions. I know we're going over. I just get excited when I'm talking to somebody who's literally been in the business for, 3 months, give or take, and is winning, guys, because it's like we can all be winning, but we just got to sometimes realize we're like, hey, like you don't suck, right? You're just doing things that are making you feel like you suck, right? I do them all the time. I'm not perfect. But if it makes you feel like you suck, you should probably just stop doing it, right? You should probably ask for advice. And that's not a weakness. And I think that's kind of a highlight on this call is like, don't be scared to ask for help. That is why we have a virtual office. That's why we all get on there. That's why we talk, guys. Like, that's why we're all here every day. So, but that's the end of that tangent. So, Nicole, thank you though. Tonality, the first 30 seconds matters, just like Nicole said, and just be a human being and just be yourself, right? Last two questions. What's a piece of advice you would give to maybe a new agent that's in their first 90 days, that's just getting started, that helped you out quite a bit?
Never give up.
Love
Never
that.
give up. Like 90 days, never give up. Utilize your brain like a sponge. And the director, your director, your upper is the water. Soak up everything that they're saying, even if you don't realize why they're saying it. Just soak it up, and then later on down you'll be able to have a better understanding of everything from start to finish, why some things are said the way they are, why we're supposed to do this way. But yeah, soak everything up and never give up, because if you can make it through the first 90 days, or heck, even the first 30 days, you're getting beat up on that darn phone, and it can take a toll on your mentality, but realizing why they're doing what they're doing, don't take it personal. Some people just have bad days. So keep going. Don't give up. Do what they say, and definitely plug in. Go to convention, because that was everything. Like, I didn't even make my first phone call. I went to a convention to be able to determine if I really wanted to do this or not. And when I came back, I was a whole different person. It was like, I'm on fire. Like I had my skis on, I was ready to go. But definitely don't give up, and always talk to people who have been doing this, because they know what you're going through and they know how you feel, because they're in our same position every single day. Even though, like, our director, he may not put on a show, or he may not put on a show, he's got his own problems just like we got our own problems, but we're still coming together and feeding off one of each other. We're both running the race here. So just plug in and don't give up.
I love that. I think that's the best advice that you could give is don't give up, utilize your brain, use it like a sponge. Huge in your first 90 days. So if you're not doing that, start doing it today. It's never too late to start. And then Nicole, just to kind of wrap up the call, what are your goals, whether it's personal, business, to wrap up the year of 2024?
Well, I want to get to that $1 million producer in a year. I came in late. I started early April. So that's okay though. Some people got 4 months on me, but that's all right. We'll get there to where I want to be. Whether it's 4 months into the next year, that's okay. At least I did it in 12 months. So that's my biggest thing. No matter how soon or how long it's gonna take, just let me hit it. That's all. Just let me hit it. If I can
Absolutely.
hit it in 12 months, like, that's even more props, but I'm gonna hit it. Yes.
No doubt. I'm definitely not betting against you, that's for sure. Nicole, it's a pleasure being in business with you. It was a pleasure having you on today. And thank you for just opening it up, not only to, myself, but all the other agents on here. And I'm sure there were so many takeaways. So guys, you're not plugging in, you're not reaching out, you're, not doing things that, Nicole talked about today. Like, try to see where you can start, baby steps, every step of the way. And Nicole, I'm never betting against you, girl. Whatever you put your mind to, I know you can do it. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So Nicole absolutely just crushed that call, like truly, and I don't just say that to say it. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns before we jump off for today? Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Guys, does everyone understand legacy safeguard? I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, but does everyone understand how that works and why that could be a benefit to a client in solidifying sales?
I have a question. Do we send them that link or do we register them for it? Because I know we have to self-register ourselves, but with that, are we sending them a link or are we putting them in the system physically?
That's a great question, Kyra. So you register as an agent, and then once you have that agent registration, you're able to log in and you're able to put the client's information in. And then what will happen is an email will be shot out and you'll receive the email as well with the client's membership information. So you need to actually go in there and put the client's information in. That way they're registered in your like agent back office, if that makes sense.
And
Thank you.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Kyra, what helped me out with that was just registering myself. Like I registered as an agent, but then registering like myself almost as if I were a client, just so I could see what they would receive, was super helpful for me. And then I got it in the mail too, just like again, seeing what they're gonna see. And I was like, this is actually amazing. So if you haven't done that, just do one on yourself too. No harm in that at all. And you'll even see it'll be like, agent name, Kyra Harris, like, so they always have your name in front of them too, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, register yourself. I think that's the easiest way, honestly, to learn about it. At least it was for me. So
the other thing I just wanted to add to that is we were talking about organization and making sure everything's organized. One day a week I have on my calendar to just go ahead and add every single client from that week into Legacy Safeguard at the same time. So you're just literally
just gonna ask.
Just do it outside of your dialing time. Just do it like whatever. And if you have 10 clients to add, just bam, 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 then you're, done. So you're not like going from one thing to another,
Heather, when you're doing that, you're just putting them in, right? Like, because I've written, I'm not a professional, but I have written a couple and I forget to do the legacy. So at the same time, I'm thinking, I got to go back and put them back on it. So are you calling the clients or you're just sending it
So
to them?
it's never bad to follow up with your clients and say, hey, I wanted to let you know we have this new program. It's called Legacy Safeguard. It's free. I'm going to automatically enroll you in it. Just look for an email coming up. It'll be within the next week. And that's actually the end of my, one of my closes is that exact same thing. I'm going to enroll you in this legacy. If and I've already talked about it. Sometimes I'm not really that great at it, but I do try and I'm trying to get better at it. But yeah, you can always call them back and, check on them, see how they're doing. But again, make that a certain time on your calendar so you're not like all over the place. So, follow up with clients on this day for 1 hour. For the month of July.
When you're calling them to make sure they receive their policy, that's a great time to tell them about Legacy Safeguard if you didn't in the first initial appointment, Raina. So like when you're calling them a couple of weeks after, to be like, hey, did you receive that policy? Do you have any questions? Do you want to review it? To make sure they got the paper copy. That's when I would bring up Legacy Safeguard.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Nicole, this is Linda Johnson. I wanted to know, Dom said on Monday that you can make, say, 150 bronze calls to get one appointment. I know that maybe it was facetious, but anyway, like I listened to you this morning. What type of calls are you making? Bronze, gold? What type of calls are you making?
Yeah, hi Linda. Nice meeting you. So I dial ILC leads The more the better. I like the titanium, the gold. I have some silver sprinkled in there. If you're on a budget, you definitely can get something out of silver leads. You know, you're just gonna have to put in a little bit more work with the dials, but that's okay. You'll get your profit back to where you can invest into more. I like to do the from the agent CRM center. I have mortgage protection and also veteran final expense. So those combined are the only ones that I work and then go back with in the ILC. I still purchase from the ILC, you know, especially if it's kind of like a backup if I've dialed my leads too fast or maybe I'm just not getting anywhere and I just need something new. I'll
Yes.
still call those leads, even from when I first started. So 2 months ago, I'll still call those leads. And some of them, I mean, I've actually just the other week, last week, I actually wrote a policy with him and I spoke to him, you know, my first couple of months. I had no idea what I was talking about, no confidence, no anything. And then, you know, I call him now with my skill set better. And, you know, here he's getting a $300,000 policy. So any lead can do what you want it to do. It's just the effort that you put into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody else, questions, comments, concerns, feel free to unmute. All right. Well, Nicole, you absolutely crushed this call. I don't say that just to say it. I truly appreciate you so much for being on and just being honest, vulnerable, open yourself, and confident as you should be. So thank you so much. I know we'll be hearing a lot more from you in the future, just trainings. I can tell the best is yet to come for you, Nicole. So thanks so much for being on with us. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Make it a great day, guys. Anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out. Take care.